Hey all, it's the beginning of November or so, been a little while since I talked to you guys. So we're looking at the San Gabriels guitar right now, a few steps into the neck building process, and I decided to do something a little different with this one. I'm going with a maple fingerboard. Now, I haven't done that before, and it does in fact change some of my ordo regularis, so to speak. You develop a fairly steady process on something like a neck. One thing happens and then the next. But in this case, you can't just put on maple, right? It won't stay clean. It's not as hard as things like, ebony or rosewood or the other standards. Although, Fender for many years has used maple to great effect. But what they do is they infuse it with, I believe they use polyester. I'm using a very hard, but starts off thin viscosity epoxy. It's a finishing epoxy. And I used that because I did, in fact, want it to soak into, the fingerboard to kind of infuse it, as I say. So that it'll be, really nice and hard and have a tough finish. But also, maple with fingers and everything like that, if you don't have a, completely impermeable finish, it's going to get really dirty really fast. So, but the thing is you have to do it differently then. I have to, I have to radius the fingerboard before I do the slotting, because if I do all of the the epoxy before the slotting, it's going to get into the slots and make a mess and blah blah blah. So in fact, I had to do a number of different things differently. So like I said, this is a few steps into the process. As you see here, I've got carbon fiber rods alongside double action truss rod, and I've just started fitting it. It's a really nice tight fit here in the pocket. As you see, these are different shaped, pickup cavities because different pickups. I'm using Rickenbacker's, the high gains on this one, and the whole thing will sit in there. And I'm actually making my own pickup rings. I just don't like the way they sit on Rickenbacker's. I mean, they're fine on those guitars. On this, I want something a little different, so I make my own pickup rings, and they will recess into there. At any rate, so as far as this neck goes, kind of interesting because normally speaking, I think I posted a video where I used my slotting jig on the table saw. But what I had to do, because this is radiused, as you see, that would have to lay down flat on it, and that means it would rock, and I wouldn't be able to, get correct depth and everything. So what I did was I actually did it on the radial arm saw, switched over the fret saw, which is a fret slot saw, which is super thin curve, and just a really simple thing. I used this piece of wood, and I just kind of inlaid a fret there, filed it down so it's just this tiny little nubbin. I don't know how well you see that. There you go. At any rate, that went there, perfectly straight onto the back of the thing here. Fret laid along the template. The template, hit exactly on the index pin, and of course, the saw was turned, perpendicular. It rolls this way, so I just went bap, 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 and did it that way. But it also meant that, subsequent steps on the neck had to be a little different too. But it's not all that weird. Just slightly different. But I think it's coming out pretty. There's a little burning, as you see on there, from the saw I used to profile this, which is sort of a shame, but I'll be able to clean that up easily enough. I think the neck looks pretty nice. So the next step here is I use my my drill press to do as a fret press, essentially. And I've got my little thing here. Now you get to see the complete mess that is my shop. But I know where everything is, and you know, that's what counts, right? So at any rate, I'm going to have to set this down here for a second. Suffice it to say, this is my call. It's got the 12-inch radius that fits the radius that